Welcome back to Free to Become Me channel. We want to thank you for joining us today. And if you have not watched our previous videos, please go back and watch. And please also go ahead and give us a like. Go ahead and subscribe, share, and comment. In this episode, we want to go ahead and do something a little different. We want to go ahead and talk about living debt-free and what it actually means to us, what it actually means to me. When we started this journey on becoming debt-free, in the beginning, I was wondering how would it be possible to be debt-free, especially living in the USA. We both just really sat down and really had a serious conversation on what being debt-free meant to us individually and then us as a couple. And we realized to be debt-free is to be debt-free. That means that we need to get rid of all of our debt, regardless of what you are told when the system tells you that some debt is good. In my eyes, no debt is good. But again, that's my opinion. That's our opinion. So once we came to the agreement that we really wanted to be debt-free, that's when paying off the bills, being disciplined, which is first, you have to be disciplined in order to pay off bills. There's no way you can pay off bills and not be disciplined. So that's number one. After paying off all the bills, now you have to ask yourself, what is my biggest asset? Which of course, most is going to be your home. Next, are you willing to part away from your home? Some people are not interested in departing from their home, selling their home. They love their home too much. So your question you have to ask yourself, am I willing, even though I may love my home, am I willing to separate from my home? I liked my home. I enjoyed my home. It was a brand new home. We customed everything to what we liked. So when the discussion came up, are you ready to sell your home? I really had to sit back and say, okay, am I really ready to sell my home? And yes, I was ready to get out of debt. Then we downsized to the manufactured home. And the market had been so good for the last several years because we were only in the manufactured home for maybe a year from our original home. The market was so good and we said, let's do it. Let's go. Let's become debt free. And it's such a misconception that when you purchase a home, you own the home. If you're paying the bank, you don't own anything because as soon as you miss a payment, it's not yours. And the crazy thing about it, even if you own the home and you don't pay your taxes, they can come and get your home. So either way, you don't own it. But just knowing that the only thing I would have to pay once we pay cash for a home is just the taxes yearly, then it itself was appealing to me. And I'm sure we could have purchased land somewhere in the USA where we could have paid cash, maybe somewhere like Arizona, Arkansas, somewhere, in the rural area, the desert, somewhere, I'm sure. But we wanted to do something different. We wanted to step out of our comfort zone. Not only that, this was actually a calling on our lives. So we had to go. We didn't have a choice. when you've been called to do something, my advice is do it. We had been praying on this for years, praying and fasting for years. And we didn't know we were going to move to Belize because we had a few areas that we were interested in. Belize, Costa Rica, Panama, a couple of other places. But when we came here, when we came to Belize, it was just a certain peace that came over us because that's how we knew. Wherever we ended up, we knew there would be a peace that would come over us. So that's how we ended up in Belize.
By now, most of you know that me and my wife met in the Tampa area, and before we moved to Belize. But sometimes, doing this process, I would look over my life and I would say, I've been working since junior high school. Started delivering newspapers in Bronx, New York. Working ever since. Some jobs took me around the world where I had to, do a lot of traveling, and some jobs, I just lived and worked, within a state. But some jobs, like everyone else, you really enjoyed them, and some other jobs you just did it for the paycheck, And after a while, as you get up in age, I don't know about some people, I know a lot of people think the same way. You just feel like, I'm tired of working. I'm ready to do something else. And that's what started to happen in my mental every day, getting up and going to work. Life expectancy in the U.S. for male is basically, as of in 2022, 74.8. And for women, it's 80.2. Even though with that said, I know a lot of people didn't even make it at 65 in my family and my people that were just friends. Makes you think, made me think. And then the average age for retirement in the U.S. between men and women is 65. That's what they say. But I know we can look around the jobs and we see a lot of 70-year-olds, 72-year-olds still working, and they all had the same census. They can't stop working because they can't pay their insurance. Now, at the end of the day, can they say they truly lived their life fully the way they wanted to? For us moving to Belize, as of now, I can tell you it panned out to be a good choice. After visiting several times and checking out everything fully, and that's what I suggest for anyone that's thinking to leave out the U.S. Because no matter where you go in the world, wherever you consider you want to go there, meet the people, eat the food, sit around, talk with the locals and learn about the way things work, the government, the infrastructure, and everything else, and see if it's something that you can deal with. Because not everywhere, even if it looks nice or whatever the case may be, might be someplace when you get there that you think, the negatives outweigh the positives, and then you might feel like, this is not a place for me. But hey, I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and that's why we are planning to stay here and make this our home. There are some amenities you give up, of course, but to me, it's worth it. Taxes, the money you save in taxes, and all the fees attached to every single thing in the U.S. That's not here. You don't get that here, and then you feel welcome. Everywhere we've gone, we felt very, very welcome. But we decided to pull the plug, regardless of our age, and retire early on our terms. One of the things that has made this very easy for us is the fact that we paid cash for everything. We built our house cash, paid our truck cash, so that left us in a scenario where we really don't have any bills except for our regular, bills to live, our electricity, our internet, and I guess our cell phones, and that's it. So let this be encouragement to anyone else that's thinking about doing this, to know that it can be done.
We want to thank you so much for joining us today, and we want to welcome you back on our next episode, and that's where we get back to business. But thank you again, and have a good day.